After a harmful relationship ends, you might say, I just want the old me back. You miss the person who laughed without checking whether someone else approved. You miss the person who trusted without studying every pause, every facial expression, every change in tone. You miss walking into a room without asking yourself first, what version of me will keep everything calm? But there's a difficult truth inside all of that longing. Not everything about the old you was freely chosen. Some of it was you. Some of it was for survival. Some of it was the person you had to become to keep the relationship from collapsing. Maybe you became the peacekeeper, the one who swallowed the objection, softened the truth, and translated the insult and apologized first. Maybe you became endlessly patient because impatience brought punishment. Maybe you became low maintenance because having needs created conflict. So recovery isn't always about getting the old you back. Vecting naturally cautions against turning either the past self or the future self into an idealized fantasy. That doesn't mean forgetting your strengths or refusing to plan. It means neither version should become another role you have to perform. You don't have to resurrect a perfect old self. You don't have to invent a perfect new one either. You need something simpler. You need to decide what matters to you now and then practice it in real life. You don't manifest a person, you practice one. Start with one question. Who did I have to become to stay loved? Don't answer with a diagnosis. Don't answer with a theory. Answer with a role. Maybe the role was peacekeeper. The peacekeeper notices tension before anyone else. They smooth it over. They change the subject. They explain one person to another. They accept blame because blame feels safer than conflict. Everyone calls them patient, mature, or understanding, but beneath the role is usually a rule. For the peacekeeper, the rule might be if someone's upset, I've failed. That truth can follow you long after the relationship ends. A friend sounds disappointed and you rush into fixing it. A worker or coworker disagrees and you start explaining yourself before they've even accused you of anything. Someone asks for more than you can give and your mouth says yes before your mind has been consulted. The relationship may be over, but the role is still clocking in for work. Write down your role: peacekeeper, rescuer, proof provider, emotional shock absorber, the strong one, the easy one, the one who never needs anything. Then write the rule underneath it. If they're upset, I've failed. If they say no, I'll feel abandoned. Rather, I'll be abandoned. If I need help, I'm a burden. If I stop rescuing them, I'm cruel. This is not about attacking the person you became. The person was trying to protect connection with the tools they had. But a survival role shouldn't get a lifetime contract. Now choose 3 values. Only 3. Not 12 words that make you sound enlightened. Not a perfect description of your future personality. Just 3 things you want to see in the way you live. Maybe you choose honesty, dignity, and care. The word alone isn't enough. A value needs a job. Ask, what would this value ask me to do when it costs me something? Honesty is easy when everyone likes the truth, but what does honesty look like when someone may be disappointed? Dignity is easy when nobody's testing it. What does dignity look like when contempt is a price of staying in the conversation? Care is easy when you have plenty to give. What does care look like when helping someone would require abandoning yourself? Go back to the peacekeeper. They choose honesty. Their old rule says, if someone's upset, I've failed. Honesty gives them a different instruction. I'll say what I can actually give, even if the answer disappoints someone. Now the value has a job. That doesn't mean brutal honesty. It doesn't mean saying everything you think. It doesn't mean giving unsafe people access to private information. In fact, in the book OLNE, check out the first chapter on the section of truth about lies. It means reducing the distance between what you know and what you represent. Instead of saying, sure, no problem, while resentment is already building, the peacekeeper practices saying, I can't take that on tonight. One sentence. There's another trap here. Leaving the old role doesn't mean becoming its opposite. The peacekeeper doesn't have to become combative. The rescuer doesn't have to become indifferent. The person who tolerated everything doesn't have to reject everyone. If your entire new identity is built around doing the opposite of what the relationship demanded, the old relationship is still choosing your direction. The question is not, what would prove I'm no longer that person? The question is, what do I honestly believe is right here? Sometimes honesty will mean saying no. Sometimes it'll mean admitting that you were wrong. Sometimes dignity will mean leaving. Sometimes it'll mean staying long enough to listen without surrendering your position. Sometimes care will mean helping. Sometimes care will mean refusing to rescue someone from the consequences of their choices. A value isn't a reflex. It asks you to look at the actual moment. That's why 3 chosen values are more useful than one dramatic new identity. They give you direction without forcing you into another costume, another role you have to play. That's the beginning of identity work. Not announcing a new self, not buying a new journal, not making a dramatic promise about who you'll be forever. One value becoming visible in one action. The action should be small enough that you can actually do it. This is important because people coming out of harmful relationships often make enormous promises to themselves. I'll never let anyone treat me badly again. I'll never ignore a red flag. I'll always speak my truth. Those promises sound powerful, but they're too large to guide a real moment. A useful promise tells you what to do on Tuesday at 7:30 when someone asks for more than you can give. For the peacekeeper, the promise might be, the next time the next time a safe person asks me for something I can't do, I'll answer honestly without inventing an excuse. That promise is specific. It's also on their side of responsibility. They can't promise, I'll make another, rather, they can't promise, I'll make the other person respect my answer. They don't control the other person's mood, interpretation, or response. In OLNE's responsibility framework, actually, people can generally take responsibility for their own conduct without controlling another person's internal state. Real constraints still matter, but the boundary is simple. Your action belongs to you. Their reaction belongs to them. In the book OLNE, it's called Authority Equals Responsibility. The peacekeeper says, I can't take that on tonight. And maybe the friend says, okay. Maybe the friend sounds disappointed. Maybe the peacekeeper's chest tightens and every old alarm bells ring. The goal is not to feel nothing. The goal is to notice. I told the truth, discomfort arrived, and I didn't immediately abandon myself to make the discomfort disappear. That's one practice. It doesn't prove they're healed. It doesn't transform their personality overnight. It doesn't guarantee they'll do the same thing next time. It gives them one honest piece of evidence from one real moment. After the action, review it. Don't review it like a courtroom or as a test of whether you're strong, good, or healed, or finally worthy. Ask 3 questions instead. What did I try to do? What happened? What should I adjust next time? It's called plan, do, review. Plan, do, review. Plan, do, review. Suppose the peacekeeper intended to say no, but panicked and agreed anyway. The old response might be, I'm hopeless. I always do this. Nothing's changed. That's not a useful honesty. That's punishment, pretending to be analysis. A better review might be like this. I answered too quickly. Next time I'll say, let me check and get back to you on this. Now the failed attempt has produced a smaller, more usable step. Or suppose they said no, but delivered a 10-minute closing argument explaining why they were allowed to say it. The review might be, I told the truth, but I still treated my boundary like a case I had to win. Next time, I'll use one sentence and stop. The book OLNE recommends pausing before reacting, honoring your no, separating from a feeling from the story attached to it, and making feasible promises to yourself. Their value is that they give you something concrete to review and repeat. A missed promise isn't permission to abuse yourself. It's also not a promise to keep. Rather, it's also not a promise kept. Accuracy is kinder than inflation because accuracy gives you something you can use. A value hasn't become part of your life because you wrote it down. It has to meet other people. You always have to have reality testing. Reality testing is a clinical term, which means being in touch with reality by having reality push back. This is where things become uncomfortable. Some people will appreciate the more honest version of you. Some will need time to adjust. Some may only have liked you or liked the role you performed because that role benefited them. Their reaction doesn't automatically prove you're right or you're wrong. Review your words, review the context, prepare if you caused harm, hold your position if the boundary still reflects what you honestly value, and practice with safe people when you can. Vectine recommends testing newly defined values in a safe community. In the book OLNE, check out the chapter on community. This, of course, doesn't mean you give other people authorship over you. A trusted person can tell you, that was clear, or your answer was honest, but the contempt in your voice was unnecessary. Feedback can help without becoming a final verdict. The peacekeeper slowly learns something important. A person can be disappointed without the relationship ending. A disagreement can remain unresolved overnight. Someone else's discomfort can exist without becoming an emergency. And if a relationship only survives when the peacekeeper erases every honest limit, that relationship is giving them important information. So here's a whole practice. Name the role you had to perform. Find the hidden rule underneath it. Choose a value you actually endorse. Give that value one visible action. Review what happened without turning it into a verdict about your worth. Then repeat. Role, rule, value, action, review, repeat. You don't need a perfect identity statement. You need honesty to begin appearing in your speech. Dignity to begin appearing in your limits. Care to begin appearing without self-erasure. Courage to begin appearing beside fear. not after fear disappears. Over time, repeated value, consistent conduct can make a chosen way of living more recognizable. That's a practical synthesis from OLNE, not a guaranteed point at which new identity suddenly appears. Look for quiet evidence, the pause before the automatic yes, the no without a closing argument, the apology that doesn't become self destruction, the promise small enough to keep, the mistake that becomes information instead of identity, the relationship where honesty doesn't cost you your humanity. You're not trying to manufacture a spotless new person. You're letting your chosen values become visible in ordinary life. You don't manifest a person, you practice one. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
I know the goal